AIT. For cheating on my husband and leaving him for my affair partner? It's been 6 months since everything imploded, and honestly, I still don't know if I'm the villain in this story. My name is Clara. I'm 29, and until recently, I was married to John for 8 years. We had a life, a good life by most standards. 2 sons, a daughter, a beautiful, chaotic trio that filled our home with noise and laughter. John and I, we were stable. We managed the bills, we kept our heads above water, and we were, for the most part, happy. Just a normal marriage, you know? The kind where you settle into a comfortable rhythm, where surprises are few, and predictability is a comfort. Then came the 5th year. It started innocently enough, or so I told myself. A local football game, a casual outing with friends. That's where I met Steven. He was charismatic, funny, and he looked at me in a way John hadn't in years. With a spark, a hunger. It was thrilling, intoxicating. What began as flirtatious texts quickly escalated. Before I knew it, Steven was my secret, my escape. Our affair wasn't some grand, dramatic romance played out in exotic locations. No, it was far more mundane, and in a way, far more insidious. We'd meet at my house, the house John and I built together, the house where our children slept. John worked long hours, a dedicated provider, and I used his absence to facilitate my betrayal. The worst part, the part that still makes my stomach churn with a mix of shame and a strange, defiant thrill, is that I did things with Steven I never did with John. Oral sex, for instance. John, bless his heart, was always the more adventurous one in bed, always suggesting new things, but I'd always found excuses. With Steven, it just happened effortlessly. It was a stark, painful contrast, a testament to how far I'd drifted. The whispers started subtly. A strange look from a neighbor, a friend's awkward silence. I don't know how the rumors began or who started them, but they found their way to John. He started asking questions, innocent at first, then more pointed, laced with a suspicion that tightened its grip around my throat with each passing day. "Where were you today, Clara? Who was that you were talking to at the grocery store?" Each question was a hammer blow, chipping away at my carefully constructed facade. The pressure built, becoming unbearable. The guilt, the fear of discovery, the exhaustion of living a double life. It all became too much. One evening, after a particularly intense grilling from John, the dam broke. I admitted everything. Every sordid detail. The affair, Steven, the meetings in our home, the things I'd done. The silence that followed was deafening. Far worse than any shouting match could have been. The divorce was instant. There was no discussion, no attempt at reconciliation, just a quiet, resolute finality. I moved out, taking only what I could carry, leaving behind the life I'd built, the memories, the comfortable rhythm. Now, I'm in a small apartment navigating shared custody of our 3 children. John and I communicate only about them, a strained, polite exchange that barely masks the chasm between us. The kids are confused, hurting. And Steven? He's still in my life, a constant reminder of the choices I made. So, here I am. I blew up my family, shattered my husband's trust, and hurt my children. I found a thrill, a fleeting moment of passion, but at what cost? Am I the asshole for seeking something more, for giving in to temptation, for destroying a normal marriage for a secret that ultimately brought everything crashing down? I honestly don't know anymore. Update. It's been a while since I first shared my story, and I've had a lot of time to reflect on everything that happened. I understand the overwhelming sentiment that I was the asshole for how things unfolded, and honestly, I can't really argue with that. I blew up my life, and John's, and in turn, our children's. Yes, Steven and I are still together. I know that might surprise some of you, or perhaps even solidify your judgment. We're navigating things day by day. There's no grand plan, no certainty about where it's going, but we're here. The truth is, I couldn't resist what I felt with him. It was a pull I hadn't experienced in years, a feeling of being truly seen and desired. It led me down a path I never intended to take, and I'm still coming to terms with the fallout. As for John, things are still cold. Our interactions are strictly limited to discussions about the children, and even those exchanges are brief and strained. There's a chasm between us that feels impossible to bridge, a quiet resentment that hangs in the air whenever we're in the same room. The trust is shattered, and I don't know if it will ever be rebuilt, even for the sake of polite co-parenting. I've had to accept that my choices had immense consequences. I hurt people I cared about, and I destroyed the stability of my family. I'm living with the new reality I created, a reality that's far from the normal life I once had. I'm learning to navigate shared custody, the emotional distance from John, and the uncertainty of my relationship with Stephen. I know that what I did was wrong in many ways, and I carry that knowledge with me every day. But sometimes in life, things happen that you don't anticipate, and you find yourself making decisions you never thought you would. I fell into temptation, and I followed a path that ultimately led to heartbreak for many, including myself.